What's up, everybody? It's Troy Cartwright. Welcome back to another episode of 10-Year Town. Before we get started, I wanted to give you this week's stat of the week, powered by our friends over at Chartmetric. Today's stat is 153,170. That is the total number of radio airplay spins this week's guest has accumulated as an artist. Chartmetric helps you dive into moments like these, streaming stats, tour history, radio airplay, and more. If you want to uncover insights like this for yourself, head to chartmetric.com. Now, back to the show. Today's guest is Ryan Hurd. You know Ryan from his songwriting hits like Lonely Tonight, recorded by Blake Shelton, and What If I Never Get Over You, recorded by Lady A. You also know him from his artist career with songs like To a T, his platinum certified #1 song, Chasing After You, and his new record, Midwest Rock and Roll. I really enjoyed this conversation. I know you guys will too. So without further ado, here he is, Ryan Hurd. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I assume that means we're live.
Yeah.
All right, let's rock.
Well, I always start this thing off with the same question, which is just how long have you been in town?
I've been in town. What year is it?
It's 2025.
So I got here, I guess about full time. I've been here like 15 years.
Okay.
I went to college at Belmont and graduated in 2009. So technically, I've been in and around Nashville for like 20 years.
Wow. Where
which
from?
I have never said out loud. I don't think that just made me feel
a certain way.
Every bit of 38 years old.
Yeah.
I am from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I was born in Chicago and grew up in West Michigan, kind of halfway between Chicago and Detroit.
Gotcha.
And I still go back all the time. Still have a little cottage up there. That's what we call them up north, little lake house. And so I spend a lot of the summer up there with my family and high school friends, and have always found that part of the world that I'm from. I think it's unique to a country artist to be from that part, not to be from there, but just to highlight it. And so it's always been a big part of my writing and my records, and especially this new album we just put out.
Yeah. Yeah, man, Michigan, my wife went to law school in Michigan, so I've spent quite a bit of time up there, and it, like, in the summer especially, which was the time I was there the least, but it's kind of incredible.
Summers are perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Summers are perfect. Winters are long.
Yeah.
And I don't like them very much anymore. So that's why I don't live there, because I like to make music, and that is my vocation and my occupation. But I do love like the summers up there. Yeah, and the fall too. Like I try to go to a Michigan game every year just to be around it. So
it's nothing quite like being at a game.
Yeah, nothing like, it's just a special place in the world, man. I love just that region. I love the Midwest. I specifically love like the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
I love Chicago.
Yeah.
I love, I don't know, man. I make a point to get to those places all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Chicago is, something about Chicago, man. I don't know.
It's the greatest summer city in the world.
Yeah.
I'd say that all the time, and nobody really has much of a rebuttal, because it's amazing. Once again, the winters are very cold and long.
Yeah, the winters are tough, but it's you need that perspective, I guess.
Sure.
So you moved here, you went to Belmont, and did you major in like songwriting or?
That didn't exist when I was at Belmont.
Okay.
I took survey of music business when I got there.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's see and everybody does that when they go to that school. Like a lot. I bet half the students go there because they're talented and they don't really know what to do. They assume, like their parents, mine too, like you should go to college and pursue like music, but inside the constraints of a college degree and education. And so I got there. I took one class, which is really important. I think everybody who does this job needs to take that class, because I learned everything I needed to know in survey of music business. Because one thing that people don't ever become really great at when they're on the creative side of the music business is understanding the way the money moves.
Correct.
And so I feel like I got that real quick, and I was like, okay, that's sort of how it works. And then I went and got an economics and sociology degree.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I went and I moved here because I liked music, loved Nashville. And then when we were getting out of school, I moved here with Aaron Esheis, who's still my producer. He did production at Belmont, and I was going to go to grad school. I wanted to go to Michigan or Wisconsin, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. I don't know why. I was like, I don't feel like that's, like, I loved school. I don't feel like more school is it for me right now. And so then I started writing songs with Aaron and all of his buddies, which ended up being Joey Hyde and Matt McGinn and Steve Mokler and Jeb Holmes.
Wow.
And we all kind of just started writing songs for fun and to like build a little starter catalog. And then we started showing, like, we would make demos. Aaron had all these internships because he was a production guy at Belmont. So he'd get internships, and you don't get paid for that, but you usually get studio time if you want it, like on the weekends or at night when there's not a session. So we would go in there after, like, they'd close down their session and close down the studio, and we'd bring all our buddies in and just bring like a case of beer, and we would make demos of these songs that we were writing. And that's how we got our foot in the door, is thinking that we were making hit songs, which we were not. But then we did, that's how we got started, was moonlighting these recording studios in Nashville. One time we had the Deftones. The Deftones were in the Castle, and they were recording an album. It must have been like 2010, and we're like, dude, all their shit's still set up, man. Like, we got everyone here, and all their shit is, it looks like they're coming back here at like 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we had to, like, we moved it all and took pictures of everything, and then had to like put it all back at like 2 in the morning, which is so scary because like those guys definitely walked in there like, this isn't
quite right.
So that's how we got recordings at the beginning. It's like, well, I don't have any money, but I do have this. Like, I do have this ability to get my foot in the door here. I have this little advantage. And I've found that most people who do this have something like that. Like Joey Hyde, his parents agreed to fund his first EP. And so that was like he talks about it too. Joey and I are best buds. And when he was making that, he's like, dude, everybody's got a little something that can be their advantage. And that was mine, was like getting my parents to help me pay for that first recording. And then he got a record deal at Capitol. And like when Joey signed at Sony, we had been making these demos and showing them to publishers. And they'd be like, these are cool, man, but like, come back when you got something a little better. Yeah. And then I get all mad and then go write songs for 2 months and moonlight another studio. Yeah. And then bring the burned CD back to Ron Stuvey or Freeman Weiser at Universal or BJ at Warner. All the guys at ASCAP that are helping you get your foot in the door. Yep. And be like, these are a little better, man. Congrats. Like, come back when you got something a little better than this. So it took probably 18 months to like really get, I guess, up to the level where they're like, oh, okay.
This kid's got something.
And then when Joey Hyde signed his record deal and publishing deal, they're like, who's writing all these songs? And so then we all got deal. That's the short version, but got deals basically because he had kind of shot off ahead of us. And we were just skiing behind that boat.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, there's like a running joke on this podcast that like somehow all roads like lead through Joey Hyde.
That's not a real joke. Is that really a joke on this?
Yes, it's happened like with like 10 different guests.
You should probably have him on then.
Yeah, we need to.
Oh man.
He's a legend.
You're going to have to hit the bleep button a lot, but the delay, hit the delay, but
he's passionate.
He truly is the most talented guy in town. He reminds me of Hunter Hayes, where they just do everything. Yeah. They're so weirdly good at like Hunter Hayes, I think is going to be Dan Huff one day. Yeah. I remember he had a studio kind of by Belmont. He had just basically, I think, bought a house or rented a house with a full studio with a huge console in it. And I was like, this dude is like, I don't need to be here. Like, I'm just watching this guy make his own records, and it's incredible. Yeah. He's like playing everything and engineering it like a real engineer and mixing it himself. Like, people don't do that, or they didn't at that time. But Joey's a lot like that. And so he got a record deal at Capitol. And then it's so weird. Am I supposed to be talking about this? I'm like leading my own.
No, this is great
thing, but
we're just going through the journey, man.
Yeah, I remember like I was so frustrated. Nobody would sign me, but they liked me and they'd set me up with all their writers, and that's just how it goes at the beginning.
Yeah,
how it's supposed to go anyway. Is like you got to struggle a little bit to get where you're going. That's how you get better. But I remember I got offered a deal by Carla Wallace at Big Yellow Dog, and she heard 2 songs and offered me a deal.
Wow.
Which was crazy because I'd never met her, and everybody else I'd been talking to, I'd just been bringing them things for a year.
Yeah.
Kept telling me to go back. And then she was like, yeah, I'll sign you. These are like good enough to get a deal.
Yeah.
And then I had 4 offers within a day, because once one person wants you, everybody else is like, no, we were going to totally sign you. And I ended up taking a deal at Universal and staying there for 7 years.
Wow. Let's take a quick break here to tell you about our friends, the Graphic Guitar Guys. If you've ever thought about having a custom guitar, whether for merch, a giveaway, or a unique VIP package item, Graphic Guitar Guys makes it simple. They've worked with some of the biggest names in country music, handling everything from the guitar to full color graphics and shipping, and it's all for one easy price. They're also a great option for album pre-sale bundles or fan collectibles. I've worked with Scott and the rest of the team myself, and they really do make the whole process effortless. Check them out at thegraphicguitarguys.com. Now, back to the show. How long after you graduated did it take you to get a
I was
deal?
24.
Okay.
2012, so almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I was, it was 2012, beginning of 2012, I signed that deal.
What were you doing? Like, just to get by?
Okay. Nobody knows this about me, but because I had an econ degree and a sociology degree, I was doing like research on a contract basis for the United Methodist Church, and I am not exaggerating. So they would do like surveys and stuff, and I would do all the stat stuff and like just do reporting on like just whatever. But I had no hours, which was the best part because I could still write during the day. The hardest part for guys coming up and girls coming up is it's like, oh, well, like I have a job during the day. Can you write at night? And anybody who's doing this full time is like, no, unless you're doing like a LA project or Post Malone or something that's like for some reason all night long. Like, no, you write during the day, like it's office hours. So it's a struggle. So I made a conscious decision to have a job or have income to where like I didn't have actual hours. So I was really lucky to find that situation, and I didn't quit that job until I had a #1 song.
Really?
So I kept it for I think 2 years while I was like starting out at Universal. So I'd go at like 8 o'clock in the morning from like 8 to 11 and go do this, type on my little computer in my little cube, and then I would go in and write songs, and then I'd finish up at the cube after.
Wow.
Like, so that's, I did that for, till I had I had three singles at that point and didn't trust that it was going to happen. That was going to take. So,
well, dude, I mean, it sounds like though you were getting cuts and like singles as a songwriter, like pretty quickly. Did it feel that way at the time, or did it still feel like it was taking forever?
Everything feels like it takes forever. Yeah. But no, I got really lucky really quick. Yeah. So I think that's what most of it is like just getting lucky. Yeah. Because everybody's making such great music all the time. The level of, like, the songs that don't get cut are like, there's not a whole lot. It's just all on a razor. And I think having a hit is like having 10 coin flips go your way in a row. And I think that way because of all the talent that is here. It is amazing how many talented people move here and make a go of it and have so much success. It's also amazing how many talented people move here and just never get the break. Yeah. And I'm really blessed. My first cut was, I wrote with Matt and Steve Mokler, called Surefire Feeling, and Jake Owen recorded it for the summer EP, which was actually a really important little project. And I love Jake. Jake's been like, him and Charles Kelly have been like my musical older brothers. Yeah. I don't have an older brother, so I kind of look at those guys and see what they're doing, and they've always been really kind and cut my music and But I remember that record was really, it was an EP. It had like 4 or 5 songs on it, but it was really important because they put Summer Jam with FGL on it. And it was FGL. It was right before Cruise came out.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. Like that little EP, like Jake has a whole lot of country music history wrapped up in and around his career. And that little EP had that band on it. And that band went and for a decade changed the way we did this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my song, but it was Joey Moy.
Yeah.
And it was like part of that sound, which was very cool. And then I had the Swan Brothers were my first single. And I had a lot of Joey songs that had come out at that point. But the Swan Brothers later on went to like, I don't know, like number 11 or something.
Yeah. You know, you just reminded me of this memory that I'd forgot that I had. But before I moved here, I went to a show at 3rd and Lindsley, and the Swan Brothers played. And I think you opened that show. Does that seem like that would be something that happened? This would have been like 2015.
I remember I remember the show. I remember playing 3rd and Lindsley. I think Tucker Bethard was also on the show I played at 3rd and Lindsley, and maybe the Swans run it too. They're nice dudes, man. Zach and Colton.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were coming off The Voice, and we had this it shot up to like 20.
Wow.
And it stopped. And that was my first single. I'm like, I did it. I wrote a huge hit.
Yeah.
And it just died. Like it sat at 20 for like 6 months and just stopped moving. And I had no idea what research was. I still don't. Yeah. Anyone who talks to me about research, I'm still like, dude, I've been doing this a long time. I still have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then after that, like literally I had 3 songs on the charts. I had that. I had the lowest charting Rascal Flatts song in the history of the band to date with Payback, which I ended up re-recording with the Cadillac 3 because I wrote it with Neil Mason. I was like, we need to make sure this song gets a moment, just because just that one didn't land. It's crazy. It also shot up to like 20 and stuck there.
Just got stuck.
And then I had Lonely Tonight with Blake, and that one was my first big hit.
Wow. And that was it was you and Brent Anderson, right?
Yeah.
So it's two-way?
Two-way, acoustic guitars, old school.
No demo?
Demo. Ben Phillips, old studio.
Yep.
And he would play drums and work and work Pro Tools while he played drums.
Wow.
Do you remember that? It was so cool. And then Sarah Hayes sang Ashley Monroe's part on the demo. Who I still listen back to some demos that she would sing on with me and remember how fantastic her voice is.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the beginning for me.
And did that change your life when that went?
I quit my other job.
Yeah.
So
quit working at for the Methodists?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it does. Those hits, I mean, every single one of them change your life to a varying degree, but that one specifically was like, all right, they can never take that away.
Yeah.
Like they can take the money and they can take your deal away, but they can never take away your little spot in country music history. Yeah. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really blessed to have gotten to be a writer in Nashville, Tennessee. It is, to me, the greatest job on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it all the time when I'm like, why am I grinding so hard on this artist thing? Because it's a lot easier. It's easier to be a songwriter. Yeah. Like the way that the business works, the way that I'm just talking about like the nuts and bolts on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the way that like the lifestyle of being a songwriter is like, dude, it is not a hard job. Yeah. It is hard to be successful at it, but as far as just like the job itself, it's like, oh man, did I get here at the crack of 11 and leave at 3? Like, what are we doing? So I love everything about being a writer. I love being in the publishing house and just talking to everybody every day. Yeah. I love seeing the other writers. And I'm at Big Machine Music now with Scott Borchetta and Mike Molinar, and they have just such an amazing culture that I'm actually really blessed to be in a couple really amazing spots now with my team. Just the culture of what is around Ryan Hurd, the writer and the artist, is really special. And it's been very hard fought and a long 18 months for sure, as far as just my personal life and what I thought music would look like, and then what it does look like for me. But I have an incredible team now, and just a very cool culture, I think, is the word I've been saying the last 2 weeks when I realized that's what it was. So
yeah,
it's part of being, I think, being in this town is finding people that make you excited to wake up and do it every day.
Yeah.
Who care about it almost as much as you do, because no one will ever care about it as much as you do.
Yeah.
And they're not supposed to. They're supposed to care about their thing.
Yeah.
But finding people that really do invest their time and their effort into, man, it matters. It really does.
Yeah, man. I mean,
and we're at the same publishing company.
Yeah.
So I hope you have the same experience.
I do very much, I mean, I've only ever been one other place.
Me too.
But, yeah, man, at Big Machine, like I always feel like when I turn in a song that if it's for a certain artist, like I know that it's got the opportunity to get there.
Absolutely.
And that's all you can control is like, can we get this song to this person? And once you kind of like that happens a few times, you get that trust, then I feel like for me, like I'm able to write almost from like I feel like I'm swinging very free because I'm just trying to write the best song I can that day, and then, the rest is like, I hope somebody hears it.
The big deal pitching songs is, who is the decision maker?
Yeah.
Is it the artist?
Yeah.
And if it's the artist, it helps to know them.
Yeah.
Have some
connection,
some just ability to be like, hey man, did you listen to that?
Yeah.
And if they say yes, I love it, man, but it's just not right. I'm like, thanks for listening.
Right.
I'm not. And then other times I've been in spots where like they'll want to change something or they'll like be on the fence about it, and I'll try to have to sell them. That's fun for me. It never works because if you don't like, that's not how music works. You can't convince somebody to like a song. You can try to convince them to put it on their record, but like it's got to just land.
Yeah.
It's got to just land right.
They got to feel it.
Yeah, man. I do love that place though. It's a special group of writers too. And I think the first thing too is, aside from the people that work at your publisher, the roster really matters. And that's one thing I learned really quickly at Universal was like, oh, the first people, and it's just human nature and it's not laziness. It's just like, these are the people whose calendars we have access to, and they're all great because we signed them and we believe in them. So the first people you're going to always be writing the most with at a publishing company is the other writers at that company.
Yeah.
So that matters. Like if there's a bad egg where you're like, God, I don't want to write with this guy.
Yeah.
It's really hard to go in there and be like, hey man, like I know you guys got to do it, but like I do not vibe with this.
Right.
And I just don't want to do it. Like, well, can you XXX, can you try it one more time? Like, no, I don't want, like it should be an automatic no. It's just hard when they believe in it. They have been tasked to work it and make those dreams come true. And you're like, I don't vibe with it.
Yeah. It's not for me.
The roster is really important. I think we have a really, really great one over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. All right. Well, let's go back a little bit. So you have Lonely Tonight goes number one. And is this when like the people are like, hey, you should try this artist thing? Is that when that started or?
So I would sing my own demos. Mm-hmm. At first I didn't. I had Brinley Addington sing them all.
Amazing.
And I love, he was a country singer and I wasn't, and I didn't know how to use my voice. I didn't have like my singing voice that I have now. I did not have that when I started.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to be all behind the scenes. I'm the writer. I'm the melody guy. I can sing, but I started to come into my own voice.
Yeah.
That was when we were just making demos, moonlighting the studios and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started singing. I was singing demos, and like Lonely Tonight, that demo was like just so great. And then Payback, the demo for that song was like, I call it Music Row famous. Mm-hmm. Sort of like when Lori started singing Humble and Kind around town, and people were like, what is this song? Like those songs, they travel. Like they're almost like, if you get Music Row to love a demo, it doesn't mean it's going to be a hit. It just means that like you get so much respect out of that and clout, and a lot of doors open up. So Payback, the demo for that,
I wrote with Neil Mason from Cadillac and Aaron Esheis. That demo traveled and it got around and people started seeing me a little different. It had so much swag and my hair was long and I just looked different.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I had some labels come be like, what do you think?
Yeah.
It's like, no, absolutely not. And I think Catino and Taylor at Sony offered me an opportunity. And I was like, man, I'm just not, like, we didn't even get to lawyers. I was like, man,
What was the hesitation at the time?
I love writing songs.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
Like,
I was like, I saw
what it took
yes,
to be an artist.
and then 1 year later, I was like, why not? Come on. And Maren and I had started seeing each other, and it was her, like, rocket ship was taking off, and so they're just like, I had made a little EP just for fun.
Yeah.
Panorama.
Great EP.
Thank you. I'm really still proud of how, like, it's still, I think is
Yeah, it's great.
some of the best work that we've done together. And she sang all the BGVs, and so it was kind of like a little crew coming up at the same time, and she obviously was the rocket ship. But yeah, then when I made that EP, I thought Universal was going to offer me a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and Ryan Beaver. He had RX,
Yeah.
which actually was like, had legs as like commercially, and mine really didn't. It was just sort of like almost like a really expensive demo that just got passed around town.
Yeah.
And I thought Universal was going to sign me, and they signed Jordan Davis and said, you guys are too similar. So then I went to Sony, and I had known Randy. Actually I love Randy Goodman, and I wrote him a thank you note because he was really kind to me at the ACMs. Like, I was there with Baron, and that's his new artist, and he was just nice to me. He knew I was a writer, didn't know much else, but just let me, like, tag along like I was a part of it.
Yeah.
And I was still very new at that point. I'm still young, and I just felt like, I don't know. I sent him a thank you note. I actually send a lot of handwritten thank you notes. I think it's like a bit of a secret weapon, but I don't know. It made an impression, and that thank you note is what got me an offer from Sony Records and Tapes. And so then, yeah, they wanted to, yeah. I had been recording a little bit on the side, had some masters that never came out. I immediately was like, I don't actually like these that much.
Yeah. I think maybe I have better songs, different songs. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the start of being an artist. Is like, I have a hit.
Yeah.
I have some singles. I'm like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was it was different though. I mean, I think about it all the time. I'm like, did I really need to do that? Like, I could have just stayed here and wrote more songs, and maybe it'd probably have more hits, but also I would have had so many experiences and opportunities that I've gotten to do because I've been Ryan Hurd the artist. And I don't think I would trade that today. I think at one point I would have, but right now,
yeah,
no.
Yeah. Well, and you know, just from the outside looking in, like, I just think your artist stuff is like your songwriting in general is dope, but I love the records, man. There's just some amazing tunes.
Thanks, man.
I got a few. I was jamming some on the way over here today. I think Platonic's my like guilty pleasure.
That's still my favorite.
Yeah.
I think Ryan song that I've ever done, because it's so nothing. It's just candy.
It's delicious candy.
It has no substance, but it just fucking bangs.
Yeah.
And I love it. And like playing it live, and you just see like every girl's eyes light up as soon as that, like, dun, 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 dun. Like, oh, we got him tonight, boys.
Yeah, yeah.
We got him tonight.
So as you've gone on, like, how did you kind of decide and like navigate, like, all right, this song is, I'm going to pitch this song versus like, I got to cut this song for me?
I get that question all the time.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I mostly write for pitch.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to write 200 songs in a year, that might be a little heavy these days. But
yeah,
that's used to be what it was.
Sure.
About 200 a year. I write for pitch, but I've got titles in my phone that I kind of have like circled that are like a little weird. And and left of center. I'm like, if we write that, that might be a Ryan thing. So I know really quickly when it's for my album or something.
Yeah.
I sort of have like titles that I know are going to be Ryan songs, but
Gotcha.
everything else is pitch. Like I already have, like I just put out Midwest Rock and Roll. I think every title on there started from just being a title. I remember when Ryan Adams made the first Cardinals record, he like found all those guys like, hey, you guys want to go make an album? He's like, yeah, you got any songs? He's like, no, but I got a bunch of titles.
Yeah.
He's like, I have a track list.
Yeah.
Like, you have a track list, but no songs. It's kind of how I do it in my head.
Really?
It's like I knew Midwest Rock and Roll was going to be a song and probably a title track.
Yeah.
And track one, if we did it right.
Yeah.
And then I sat down with Mark one day and Randy and just knew. I was like, I know it. This is the day. And you kind of go all the way down the list. The last song I'll ever write, like, yeah, I knew as soon as I wrote that in my phone, I was like, if that's a song called The Last Song I'll Ever Write, that's going to be for me. I just know it is. So
yeah,
I kind of mark them when they appear in my, like before they even exist. I'm like, I kind of know that's what it's going to be. And I already have like the next record kind of mapped out with most of the songs, and then 2 titles I haven't written yet, but I know those are going to be the titles.
That's cool.
So
I love that.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm actually really excited about making music right now.
I could tell.
It was it's been an odd, I guess, I mean, when you're looking at like what we've talked about, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And I think my heart is just kind of starting to come back into it in a cool way. Like, I think it was there's a moment I didn't really know what music was going to look like for me. And so I tried a lot of things. I started a little record label, and that was really eye-opening and fun. The parts of it that I think were, it is just so much work to make a hit and to make like music successful. And then I have like signed a couple writers that I have learned a lot from how to manage. Like, but it always is about music, and it always, like, that's what is the thing that makes me the happiest, is not the check.
Right.
I mean, you got to make a living.
Sure. But
that's not the thing that makes you happy. That's a relief.
Yeah.
When that happens, you're like, okay, we're good for now.
We got another 6 months.
Yep. And when you have another hit, you're like, all right, that'll hold me over for about 3 years.
Yeah.
We're fine. Just as far as like keeping me in the game.
Yeah.
Like, you got a hit. All right, man, he had a hit last year, so you could he can keep writing here.
Yeah.
But I love the music part. That's the only part that will always, I think, love you back.
Yeah, it's
because this town does not.
Dude, I mean, you kind of briefly mentioned it, but it's like, it's just being let's take being the artist thing out of it for a second. Just being a songwriter, like, it can be so heartbreaking.
Oh,
so often. Yes. And there's so many days where you wake up and it's just like, what am I doing? But then you go to work, and oftentimes it's that day you write some amazing song, and you're like, of course.
Hometown radio station.
Yeah, that's right.
That song, I don't know. I'm a publisher on that song because I published Joe Clemens. And you guys wrote that song, and he was like, I think I wrote a really great song today.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I wrote this song.
It's amazing.
That's it. And it's like when you hear that and you're like, oh my God, yes. Like that thing is never going to die.
That's right.
It can't.
Well, and no matter what happens, like I've really tried to reframe like my brain on focusing on just the process of like getting to write a great song. That's really all that I get.
Yes.
I hope it turns into money and fame and glory and all this stuff. But as long as I love that 3.5 hours I got that day, and then maybe another 6 hours making the demo. Me and Ben here made the demo for that song.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, you're a talented guy. I know you're busy now, aren't you? Yeah, that's what I was like. Get homeboy to make some demos, and he's like, dude, he's too busy. Well, you guys did a great job. I love, and then dude, so another way we're connected is you wrote my favorite song on my first album.
Wow.
you wrote "What Are You Drinking?"
Yeah.
And I didn't write that song. I think I'm credited because I think I changed.
You did some stuff in the bridge.
Okay.
Which was meaningful into the song.
I do think it added to it, but I don't know. I didn't need to be, whatever. Publishers that's what they do.
Of course.
But I didn't write that song. And I was in Mexico with Marin, and she had already gone to bed. And Aaron's like, he just sent me that. He doesn't send me music.
Yeah.
Like never.
Yeah.
And it pops up in my text, and I'm on the beach. I have a strawberry margarita, which is like, I think I'd been drinking beer all day, and I'm like, I need something else for the palate. And he sends me this song, and I am like, what the fuck is this? This is so good. Wow. And I'm like sitting there at the Pacific Ocean doing the songwriter hunch like this with my phone up to my ear. I'm like, I love this. I love this. I'm recording this. Before these guys get smart enough to pitch it to someone else, I'm going to cut this. And I wanted it to be the second single on that album. And they went with a different one, which is just what working with a label is a lot of either compromises. I mean, it's just their job to put you in what they think is the best position to win. But I was pounding the table for that song, being like, this is the hit. It's slower. It's a bigger swing, but if it lands, it will land.
Yeah.
And so I'm really grateful for that tune, man. I started opening shows with it.
Yeah.
I would just go out there with an electric guitar instead of a piano and just bang it out. Just like like Bush.
Yeah.
Glycerine. Just play it like full distorted and all that. Just man, I love that song.
Man,
you guys
sick.
I love your song. I'm such a fan of your songwriting. And I know this is like, I love that you do this. This is so needed and special. And honestly, like you're getting so much history of this town down in the hour that you spend talking to people like me. But your songwriting is so great and your voice is so great, man. I've always been a fan, and I am blessed to have cut a song of yours. And also I'm like, every time that as a publisher now I hear something that you do, I'm like, that's going to land. I'm like, I'm just a fan of it and I want it to win. Yeah. So I go, with Hometown Radio Station, Allison Jones, she kept being like, I need songs. And she got pretty annoyed at me because I'd be like, Hometown Radio Station. And she's like, what are you like? I know, Ryan, I know. I was like, no, Hometown Radio Station is going to be a hit. Yeah. It is. Show me one station that's not going to play that, add that week one. That's the whole point of the radio.
Yep.
Anyway,
we'll see what happens.
So I walked in there and was like, he hasn't heard this song. Send it to him right now in front of me. And then I will never talk about it again. And he held it in like 5 minutes. Yeah. So that was pretty dope. Yeah. But I believe in great songs. I love this. This is the thing I love is the music part. And I was talking to somebody on the phone coming over here and I was like, oh, I forgot about that song. And like Hannah McFarlane teased this song we wrote together. That's great. But, oh, did you hear this thing? And so like, that's the thing that's always going to bring me back. Yeah. It's the thing that's supposed to. Like the rest of it's just, like, you could have a hit, but you could get sued tomorrow for nothing. And that takes the fun out of it. But the song itself is always going to be the part that
it's magic.
Makes you happy.
Talk to me about Midwest rock and roll. Like, well, I mean, obviously it's like an album, but I love the song.
Thanks.
Who did you write it with? You were talking about it earlier.
Mark Holman and Randy Montana. It's track 1 on my new album, Midwest Rock and Roll.
And it rips.
It rips hard. It's a pee joke.
Okay.
Which I don't know if I've ever said publicly.
Yeah.
But the first line of the chorus is, I wrote your name in the snow. I know you're from Texas, but that's like...
Yeah, I get it. That's amazing.
It's like peeing in the snow. But it's... I don't know, man. I knew this was the album I wanted to make from the second I got done with Pelago. I was like, I want to write a garage record, like a record that we would have made in Michigan where we're just in my basement banging on guitars. And I feel like we did the elevated version of that. And I've still worked with Aaron Esice, who I grew up with. We've been making music since we were like 14 or 16 years old together.
Wow.
Still doing it to this day. We're not 16 anymore.
Yeah.
But I just love the song, and I knew, like, I love the album, and the first 2 tracks on this record were released independently.
Yeah.
Which I talked to you a lot about, because you had started to take that journey, and it's wild, man. It's fun. I liked it, man.
Yeah.
And then the idea was we were going to put the first 2 songs out independently and then try to find a partner to put the rest of the album out.
Yeah.
And Sony had just let me out of my contract, which sounds like I was like trying to get out of Sony. I loved working with a lot of those people, man, and had a lot of success. I did not. I don't know if they dropped me or if I wanted to leave. I think it was just I didn't want to tour as much anymore because it gives me a lot of anxiety. And I had at the time a 2-year-old, and I just wasn't seeing him. Yeah. And I was like, I am not gonna like waste this kid's childhood on a bus.
Right.
So A+ decision life-wise, but it meant I had to like reevaluate everything I did business-wise.
Sure.
Because I had to find a way to replace that income. And so I was talking to Sony and just said, is there anything we can do to make my contract look just a little bit different? Can you cut me in somehow? And they were very kind to entertain the idea. But when you're talking about it, that effectively is a contract renegotiation.
Yeah.
And there are so many people at that label that were ahead of me.
Yeah.
Mitchell Tenpenny being one, where it's like, we can't do your deal before Mitchell's.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So then when, they ended up just saying like, if you would like to kind of go on your own
way. Yeah.
And that's the decision that we made. So it is a drop, which I'm fine with. I have no pride about that. Like everything has a shelf life, and I loved my time there. And then we put the first 2 songs out independently, Midwest Rock and Roll, and then Go to Bed Sober with Sasha, Alex Sloan. Sasha and Henry made the record with me and Aaron.
Yeah.
What an incredible 2 people.
Yeah.
Just magical voice, magical writers. Henry's just so unique with his production, and then Aaron did all of like basically my side of that record.
Yeah.
Cut, I think, drums and bass and some other stuff. So then, Allison Jones said, Scott told me, don't sign anywhere till you talk to us. And I had my album done.
Yeah.
I had it free and clear from I didn't have it encumbered by any business thing.
Yeah.
It's just mine. I owned it. And I was like, well, I'm talking to these other companies that are smaller. I'm thinking that's kind of what I want to do. And I texted Scott, like, this is kind of what I would sign tomorrow if you wanted to do a deal with me.
Yeah.
You wanted me to be here. I'm already here as a writer. I love it. I love these people on the record side. They believe in me. We've known each other. It's like almost been like my second record label, because I used to go like to their corporate retreat back when Taylor was on the label, and everyone would fly down on a jet to Cancun. They'd bring writers, and I'd be like one of their writers they would bring. So I knew all these people, was close with them, and texted Scott, like, I think I would sign something like this. And 2 days later, I think we had, the long form's like 3 pages, which is crazy to me.
That's so sick.
But I'm really proud of the album, man, and really blessed that I got to do it, man. I truly got
to do it your way.
I thought it was going to come out March of 24, and it came out March of 25. So obviously,
a year.
Some life happened in between, and had some personal stuff that was really had to prioritize. Getting like my feet back underneath me. But I am really proud of where I'm at now, and just so blessed to be making music and to make this record. And it is a very unique album to come out of Nashville. Just, I think, sonically and content, like what I'm singing about in the records, whether that's about like some like nostalgic coming of age story in the heavy rock, like the heavier sonic tunes, or if it's like the Elton John half of the record, where it's like Paul and Last Song I'll Ever Write in California 1972. I think it covers a lot of space, a lot of ground. Yeah. And I'm really proud of going slowly with it too, because I basically made it in 23, and I was like, I'm going to come off the road, hang out with my son, make up for some lost time, and I'm gonna write and record this album slowly. Yeah. Because I think one thing we don't do a lot of in Nashville is
go slow.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
We are so single cycle obsessed where it's like when one falls off, it's like, all right, we got to have something right now. It's like, no, actually we don't. Like I don't have anything, man. Like we just had a massive hit and we put the second single on the back end of it and the other hit cannibalized that one. And I'm out here touring this record. I don't have any more songs.
Yeah.
Like we cut them all.
We need to take a break.
I need to go home and write. And so that's what I did. And I went slow and I just went everything was pretty carefully made. Some of the record, I'm like, I don't even know why we did that, but ended up being pretty dope. All Night Long Days is like whatever. There's some stuff on there like that one snuck in there. Yeah. But I just love the album. I love the art. I love everything about it, man. And it is a bit of a personal triumph to have it come out because I didn't know exactly what this looked like for me. I knew I wanted to keep making music, but I was like, maybe I'll be more like, maybe I'll be able to serve more on the business side now, maybe. But I don't have that yet. I don't have enough know-how. I don't have the chops, especially on the accounting side.
Yeah.
But I don't have the chops yet for that. And I'm not done making music.
Yeah.
This is my calling. This is our vocation.
Well, I can tell you're just like, I don't know. You seem like in a great place and excited, and like seems like all the energy comes from just like being the kid in the sandbox that's just playing with the toys, you know? I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, it really is.
And like that's how I feel like when I go right over at Aaron's house, your producer's house. He's just got all his stuff out, and it's so much fun. You're like, can we put keys on this? He's like, yeah, and he just plays them and he bangs on the drums and
I'm the worst dude over there because I play everything. I'm like playing drums while people are trying to write lyrics, like real drums.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a great studio, and he just got a new. He went to Philadelphia and bought a studio console for his house. No one buys an API for their house. Yeah, this guy did, and I was like, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "It keeps me interested in doing this."
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. And he goes, "Also, I don't need a fucking Range Rover." And I was like, "That's a direct quote that I'm gonna write on. I'm gonna like write that on your wall over here." It's like, I don't need a Range Rover. Yeah, it's like that made me laugh.
I'm just gonna buy a console instead.
Yeah, he bought a console and he's just sitting there trying to make it work all day. It sounds great. It's really, I can't wait to make the next record on that console.
Yeah, what are you like? What's next? Are you figuring that out?
I have the deluxe for Midwest Rock and Roll coming out here in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
Which is a absolute hammer. I can't even wait to tell people about it. When does this come out?
A couple of weeks.
Couple weeks?
Yeah.
Well, okay, then I can talk about it. Brittany, I'm talking about it.
Yeah. And we can hold it as long as we need to.
No, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it before then. I don't care. It's my record.
Yeah.
So we went, when I signed at Big Machine, I had like 2 songs out.
Yeah.
And then I had the rest of this album, and they didn't know what to do with me.
Yeah.
Because it's a brand new artist, but it's not like a new artist.
Right.
So
you're known.
They bring me into this room with all their like visual people and creative people who are going to basically do all the content and photos and design and all of that. And they're like, well, we don't know you at all, but like, what do you want to do? And I bet there were 20 people in that meeting, and I was sitting across from my manager, Dallas, at the time. And I couldn't believe how well they listened to me. I'm not saying people at Sony didn't listen. I really appreciated in that moment coming in there very vulnerable, nervous about my music and my, like, I don't know, man, there's a lot of stuff up in the air, and it was very day by day for me. And I just said, like, I told them kind of my ideas, and I said, but I got one idea, and I'm going to just say it until somebody tells me no, but I want to go cut Paul live from Abbey Road.
Yeah.
And so they're like, huh? And like, well, no, they kind of looked at each other like, we don't want to say no. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to plan on doing this until someone says no.
Yeah.
And no one ever said no. Wow. So in what month was that? February, second week of February.
Yeah.
We went over, Aaron, and Brittany, and Aaron's wife, my manager, Brittany, and Aaron's wife, Jessica. We all went to London, and we played a little acoustic show.
Yeah.
In the, like, little, like, I don't know, 200 cap room. And that was also hilarious. But then I had the whole day at Abbey Road to record the deluxe for this album.
Yeah.
And it was the most fun I've ever had making music in my entire life. And I'm not a studio guy. Like that does not, like I don't really like sitting around in the studio all day, like watching everyone else make my record. That's weird for me. Like I don't even sing. Usually I just use demo vocals now. Like I think half of the record on, maybe more than that on this album is demo vocals. But I was just like, I was walking around, I was drinking beers and just like, this is the most fun I've ever had making music.
Opening up cabinets.
We had a British, all these dudes in London. We had a London session band and they ripped. 2 guys were in one of the Gallagher's bands. We had an amazing bass player who actually was on our flight back to Nashville, which was pretty fun. And I can't remember. I feel bad. I know all their names, but I'm blanking on our guitar player's name, but he plays for Tom Odell. Yeah. And they're opening for the Lumineers this summer. And he just ripped it up. But so we got the whole day at Abbey Road to cut the deluxe, Midwest Rock and Roll Deluxe. I think it's called London Sessions. And it's Paul London Sessions. So we rearranged that song and cut a song about meeting Paul McCartney at Abbey Road, which was pretty meta and awesome. Yeah. It was like very cool. So cool.
And it's such a cool song on its own. Yeah. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And then we cut a song called JP's Hard Luck Diner Permanently Closed that I wrote with Carter, and she's featuring on it. And then I did In My Life with which is a Beatles song on Rubber Soul. Yeah. I think it's a John song, but Paul's credited as a writer too. And then we did Let Me Roll It, which is like a Wings song. It's my favorite Wings song. Yeah. Maybe my favorite McCartney song ever. Yeah. And I don't know, man. It's a special project. It sounds pretty true to the room. Yeah. Jim Cooley mixed it, but he left it really bare and special. And dude, so that's it. And I wanted it all to point back to the album. Yeah. Point back to Paul, point back to like a really cool just moment. But yeah, I met Paul McCartney at a Grammy party, and the whole song is about that interaction. I didn't get a picture with him. He's like messing with my bow tie, and this is your opportunity to go listen to the song. But I'm really blessed to have made this album and had a label like Big Machine just be like, okay, we'll figure it out. And it ended up like, yeah, it's expensive, and yeah, it's a bit much, but it's also like, that's what, like, that project's not going to make or break this album, right? Like, it's a lot of money, but it's not like, you know about the economics of this streaming stuff now. It's like, yeah, it's a chunk, but it'll show back up.
Yeah. And you're like, it's got a long tail.
I can't believe we got to do that. So I'm so pumped about it, and hope everybody loves. It sounds a little different than the rest of the record. It should. It's in a
different studio.
Yeah. It's anyway.
I think the words you just described, like, I can't believe we got to do that, or I can't believe they let us do that, is like the key to all of my best days in this town are just like, I can't believe, like I don't know, sometimes you just feel like you like got one over.
We tricked them.
Yeah.
Like, they paying us to show up here and just like make up some tunes. Okay.
It's crazy, right?
I do that every day. Yeah. Okay.
Do it. Yeah. Pretty much every day.
It's awesome.
It's special, man. Well, dude, what an honor to have you here. It's cool for me, man, because like when before I moved here, I was like into what you were doing, and then just to like have become friends over the years and now be at the same publishing company, and now you're sitting here in this chair. It's cool, man.
This is like my first podcast in like 5 years, so yeah, I feel honored to be a part of it, man. Yeah. It's awesome. You do a great job with this, man. I think it's very, very needed and encouraging and inspiring to people to see like, no, man, like my path will never be your path. Yeah. But everybody who does this and ends up getting their foot in the door has a path.
That's right. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like literally everybody's looks different. And so I hope that with every episode that people listen to, they just leave with like a little bit more understanding of like, it's okay. It's all going to work out, you know?
Yeah, so, man, take a deep breath, get better before you get somewhere. Everybody will be okay.
Before we go, If you have, I always like to ask if you could go back to younger you, just getting started on the journey. Is there any piece of advice you'd give them?
I don't know, man. I've lived like 8 lives here. I think I only got one more. So, man, my piece of advice that I give to everybody is, I know it's not sexy, but you need to worry about getting better before you worry about getting somewhere. If you're focused on the right things, you're focused on making your demos better. If you're focused on learning how to if you're focused on the right things, focused on getting better, eventually they will have no choice but to say yes.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it. The other stuff is, yeah, you can get lucky, but if you want to do this forever, focus on your craft. I tell, like, parents come up to me all the time. I'm sure they come up to you same way, and they're like, my kid's talented. Like, what can I do to help? Because parents don't know.
Yeah.
That's why they send them to Belmont to do songwriting degrees and music business stuff. Is like, that's what they know. And that's a great, I mean, I think half of my network is still Belmont people, but I tell these parents, you just see the life go out of their eyes, and it's like, write 100 songs.
Yeah.
They're like, oh. I'm like, no. It's you heard the word 100 and you got discouraged. It's 2 songs a week for a year. Can you write 2 songs a week? I guarantee you can do that. And if you can't do it in January, then I promise you'll be able to do it by March.
Yeah.
If you focus on it and treat it like a job. But go write 100 songs. You get 4th of July and Christmas off. But yeah, man, those are my 2 little pieces of advice for people that are coming up trying to do this. But I think music in itself is its own reward. Yeah. Like the fact that we tricked them into letting us do this is its own, I think, its own reward.
Yeah, it's pretty special. All right. Well, thank you again for being here. That's it. That's the pod. See you later. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. If you want to submit a question for one of our Q&A episodes, you can do so at tenuretowne.com. We would love it if you would join the Tenuretowne community, which just means we'll send you updates via email about stuff we got going on. And of course, please rate and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch this thing, we appreciate you so much. See you next week.